But we have a question from our boy. There are many upcoming features that I have personally been really excited about and know I've been talking about for a long time, like proper physics system workshop, hard permissions, but those feel like they're going on years of waiting. I've seen multiple times people told they should wait until hard permissions are implemented to make permission system-related systems, but it has been a long wait. I was wondering, how do you prioritize features to work on, and if any of those above have any updates? So usually we kind of like look, I mean, there's going to be lots of plans because Resonite is a long-term project, which means, there's a lot of things we want to do. It'll take, years to get to some of them. But, that's kind of like, the point of the project. It's a very long-term project and we're just building a lot of things. There's only so many things we can do at a time. And it's almost like, like a lot of these things, they're kind of like milestones, but like if you think about it, like one nice way to think about it is almost like, having a skill tree, and you have like, say like you're here, and there's like all these things, and maybe there's like, some things here. Let me actually move this a little bit. You're here, and for example, these things need this thing, and this needs this thing, this needs this thing, this needs this thing. And you're here, and you're kind of deciding which way do you want to go. And maybe we're like, okay, this is the most important thing that would help the project the most at this time. So we're gonna, develop this. And then we're like, okay, this also helps this, but we need to do this, so we also do this. And now we can do this. And now that we've kind of explored this part, we'll be like, okay, at this point we have this. This is helping us, a lot. At this current state, with the community and like with the company and with like how everything else is going, we think this is the most important bit. So we start developing here, and then maybe here, and then we do maybe go a little bit here, and maybe there's like it goes even further. I'm actually making it to oh boy. There we go. And maybe it goes even further, and maybe we decide, okay, we're not gonna go all the way. Like we're gonna pause and we're gonna instead develop this and then this, and maybe a later time we return back here because like this is good enough. So it's almost like like there's so many things to do, and at every point when we're kind of deciding what to prioritize, we are like what Resonite needs the most right now. What is like the most important thing? And that's kind of hard question to answer sometimes, but there's a lot of things that go into it. There's actually a big post on our GitHub called How We Prioritize, and it kind of goes into a lot of the signals and thought that goes into prioritizing things. But like for major features, like it's like what will bring us, the most support, the most, and what's gonna, help most like with other features. Because, for example, with the upgrade, to .NET 9, we can now be unblocked on so many things because it makes stuff like rigid body way easier. Because we can upgrade to latest Beppo and we get like, the benefits of that. It lets us clean up a lot of code with the modern mechanisms. It lets, so many features much easier that it makes sense to prioritize, as the thing to do. Because if you implement certain things, they make other things easier, and that can, contribute to those things being prioritized. And specifically now with performance, for the longest time I kind of felt like, performance is probably one of the biggest blockers, for a lot of people staying on Resonite. And we need more people in the community, we need kind of more support. And a while back, we did a survey and we kind of asked people, what's preventing you from playing Resonite more? And like overwhelming majority of people said it's the performance. And that's, why that got prioritized, why we said, this is going to be our major focus for like, a while. Make it like way better because that can help the community, that can help the future development, and just kind of make the software like better. And once that's done, we'll kind of do the similar thing. We'll be like, what's the biggest thing? But also in that process, we kind of, make smaller things. The performance being the major focus doesn't mean like, we stop doing the smaller things. They just kind of, sprinkled around it. Sometimes there's other stuff that kind of comes up that we need to deal with. Like, for example, if servers are on fire, no more performance work for now until that is resolved. Like, that needs to be fixed. Same, like, and the reason, like, we prioritized, for example, Stripe, like, we had, like, working in parallel, is because we've calculated that every day that we don't have Stripe, we lose, like, $50 to $60 every single day. So the longer it takes, the more money we lose that we could have potentially, had that we could put into other things like, hiring more people or maybe more marketing, to bring more support. But overall, it's like, prioritization, it is a complicated thing. You have to like weigh so many things and figure out what's the most important one right now, what's going to help the project the most, what's going to bring us the most support, what's going to help the community the most. You weigh all of these and then you make your decision. And maybe, sometimes you like, maybe like you want a different decision or something, but like, there's so many variables, it becomes difficult, to like, because you don't quite see, like where some things will go. You don't know like how people are gonna react to some things. So you might have like, some expectations. And people also have like, different things. Like some people don't care about the performance and they want like IK. And ultimately the decision comes, to being like majority of people do, so you have to go with that because, that's one of the things that's gonna blocking this platform from growing more. But yeah, it's one thing we're probably gonna like prioritize actually that's changed a bit is like molecule, because it's one of those things that I feel like people don't super care about because like, it's not something super user facing, but we as developers really need it because there's been so many cases where I've like lost hours of time dealing with like, issues that would be solved by having it. So, sometimes like we end up like prioritizing things because like it really helps speed up the rest of the development, which means we can actually do the other things, faster than we would have otherwise been, but it means we have to spend time on this thing for a bit. But yeah, hopefully it kind of, answers the question. And I do recommend reading the How We Prioritize post on GitHub because it goes into a lot of details on this.